Good evening. From Johannesburg, I'm Catherine Constantinides. Welcome to Let's Have It Out. Tonight and every weeknight here on ENCA, a variety of people will get their chance to host this program. We'll give you, the viewer, a chance to get involved in the conversation. Unfiltered, accountable and accessible. Over the past 5 years, I've worked actively on the issue of the illegal occupation on Western Sahara and have engaged with the Sahrawi people in the refugee camps situated in southwest of Algeria, where they have been for more than 40 years. I've lived in these camps amongst these people and engaged with the Sahrawi freedom fighters around the world in their fight for self-determination, liberation and access to their basic human rights. The people of Western Sahara have been under illegal occupation since 1975. Forgotten by the world, the Sahrawi people fled during the armed conflict when the colonial power Spain left the territory and handed over administrative power to both Mauritania and Morocco, forcing the Sahrawi people to find refuge. The Sahrawi refugees fled at the time of conflict, and they have lived in a temporary refugee camp in southwest Algeria for more than 4 decades under inhospitable climatic and humanitarian conditions. In 1991, the UN called for a ceasefire, and MINURSO, the UN mission for the referendum in Western Sahara, was established with a mandate to organize a referendum within 6 months. 27 years later, the Sahrawi people still wait for the promised referendum, yet the process has been aggravated while Moroccan settlers have begun to colonize the territory, and the Sahrawi people continue to be victims of human rights abuses, including torture. Morocco was readmitted into the African Union without preconditions or terms. The newly admitted member should now be obliged to respect internationally recognized borders, thus recognizing the Western Sahara. The Western Sahara is the last colony in Africa, while the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination is recognized by the African Union, the United Nations, and the International Court of Justice. There is no country in the world that recognizes Morocco's sovereignty over Western Sahara. Despite this, and despite reports of the exploitative plundering of natural resources and the infliction of grave human rights abuses, the urgency of the renewed efforts to overcome the current impasse have been expressed repeatedly. You can be a part of this conversation. Here's how.
Tweet us at ENCA using the hashtag LHIO. Call us on 011-759-6340 or send us a WhatsApp or WhatsApp video on 082-884-6370. And make sure those videos are no longer than 30 seconds, please.
I'm joined now in studio by Charge d'Affaires of Morocco, Mr. Abdelkader Naji. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to ask you, what do you feel is the role of Morocco and how do you see itself in terms of peacekeeping on the continent?
I think, first of all, we should talk about something else. We have met last Wednesday. We talked about the issue. And when we finished, you followed me to the car and apologized. Then you tweeted something which is not good about me, about my country, and about my colleagues. You said bad things about me. You threatened me not to be allowed to get to South African national TV, and you described my regime as evil. And
I live in a democratic country where I have the right to have
but you have the right to criticize, not to insult.
Things.
You have incited me as an evil. And I think you have not the capacity to be here because you consider me as an enemy. You are not a human rights activist, I think, because you are specialized in targeting and attacking Morocco only. You don't talk about... Sorry.
I would like us to go into the questions because we're limited on time.
But this is very important. So we have time to answer you. Because you are targeting only Morocco and concentrated only on Morocco.
Yes.
Not on what is happening inside the refugees or the detainees camp. You know that in the camp there is slavery, black slavery.
There's no slavery.
No, there's slavery, black slavery.
I've lived in these camps. There's no slavery.
There is black slavery.
There's no slavery.
There is sufferings of people because
the suffering is because of a humanitarian crisis. Let us talk about Morocco. Let us talk about the role of Morocco.
We'll talk about this first.
Okay.
And in the camp, who is responsible? The camps are in Algeria.
Correct.
And they are detained. And before, I think, around 1975, they were kidnapped. Most of them kidnapped.
There was no kidnapping.
No, you don't know the history. You don't know think about this. You are not an activist. Sorry to tell you this. You are a lobbyist. You work with the Algerian embassy, the Algerian regime, and you are always attacking Morocco because to serve some agendas. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I need to just ask the question again. I just want to bring us back into line where we are. What role does Morocco see for itself in terms of peacekeeping on the continent of Africa?
I think we have been, we are the founders, father of the AU.
Why is it that you left the AU, which was the OAU at that time?
Yeah, there were some circumstances because a mistake done that time to recognize this militia separatists as a country, as a state. And you know that the state needs to have at least 4 features: population, territories, sovereignty, and government. And this state does have nothing, neither population, neither sovereignty, neither territory, and obviously no government. So it's not a state. So for the peacekeeping, we are member. We will be member for 2 years. We are always in Morocco contributing to the peacekeeping in Africa. Our soldiers are in DRC, are in Central Africa, and can be everywhere. Wherever there is something wrong, we can go to help, to save peace and security. We are engaged as Africans because we are African country. So we are engaged to do so.
Can I ask you then, what is it that almost 2 years after the African Union membership, Morocco has been readmitted, where do you see the resolution being reached with this conflict, an outstanding conflict of Western Sahara? In your own terms, how do you see this conflict or the situation? Could you, for us, in your capacity, explain to us the Western Saharan conflict?
Yeah, it's not the Western Sahara conflict. There is no Western Sahara, there is a Moroccan Sahara. The conflict is between 2 countries, Morocco and Algeria. There is no other country. The Sahrawi, the ones who are kidnapped, detained in the camps in Algeria, are the scapegoat. There is the excuse or pretext. But the problem resides in Algeria, in Algiers. And there is no solution without Algiers to solve the problem. We opened the door for those who can or could go back home. They are very, very welcomed. And many of them already came back. They are living and enjoying their food rights in a democratic society. So there is no problem for us. The Sahara is Moroccan. Morocco is in his Sahara, and Sahara is in his Moroccan. So there is no question about that. We have the solution, and we give it. There's a proposal of the local autonomy. We proposed since 2007, and this solution, this initiative, was considered to be serious, credible, and practical. So why we don't accept this?
I'm going to leave it there for a moment. We're going to continue the conversation after this break. Remember to use the hashtag LHIO on social media and join the conversation.